Um, so the speaker starts off the video saying how he is going to talk about something that means a lot to him and is really close to him. He first came, and this thing is immigration to the United States. So first, he comes to state as an immigrant, so it's hard for someone, and he said so it's hard for someone and for people to notice that he is an immigrant because he acts so much like an American. Immigrants don't go out and he said immigrants don't go out and make entertaining websites because they need to know people's backgrounds and where they grew up. And since he's not really from the United States, he doesn't know too much about people in the United States. He moved here at the age of 14, so luckily he got this see and how to act and be like an American more than other immigrants since he came here at such a young age. When he first got here, he lived in a one-bedroom apartment with his parents. He was an only child, so his parents gave him the bedroom and they slept on a mattress on the living room floor. He said he remembers the horror and the shame on his parents' face when he would bring home friends from school because they wish they would have told him that he would have told his parents before he brought friends over, because when they would walk in there'd be no place for him to sit because his parents didn't know where to put the mattress that was on the living room floor, and so they were very trying to think of the word I can't think of it, but they just weren't. Oh, sorry. They felt embarrassed when he would bring friends over. He said immigration is a very, very unfair trade because parents pay the costs, the children reap the benefits, and the grandchildren take it for granted. And I like this point about immigration being a very unfair trade because my great-grandpa was an immigrant from Yugoslavia. He had to leave his family behind or they were going to be executed, so he was forced to leave his whole family behind and stuff like that. So he had to start a whole new life in the United States, and I can't even imagine what that was like because he got remarried and had one boy, an only child, and which is my grandpa. And my grandpa never got to meet his brother and sisters from Yugoslavia. And his dad, my great-grandpa, didn't want, and his mom didn't want him to go to school. So he had to sneak away from the house to go to school. And he had to work part-time while going to school because his parents weren't paying for him to go to school. He had to use the money from work to pay for school. So he was working part-time and going to school part-time. That way he could make the money to pay for it. But anyway, the speaker reflects back on his immigration experience. He said it is filled by dreams and filled by hope because you don't really know what's going to happen when you get here or wherever you're going. You just gotta have hope that everything's gonna be okay. He then talks about how a long time ago immigration was a lot different than today. Immigration came by steamboats and railroads instead of buses and cars today. 1 century ago, the great suffering in immigration was caused by nature, whether it was natural disasters, sicknesses, etc. Back in the 1800s, the United States didn't want Eastern European immigrants. He states that the United States said in the 1800s, if you're brown, they would ask you if you really belonged here. And then he states we have a very outdated views on immigration and here in the United States, and he believes that everyone believes and thinks different about immigration in the room that he's in right now speaking to. And he said we don't want to be racist, but we are still letting politicians somehow pass these bills. And the bills he's talking about is like the immigration bills that don't let some people in to the United States, and that's what he's thinking is racist, which I agree a lot with that. I don't think it really matters what color your skin is or what race you are, but if something happens to where you need to come into our country, I think they need to be allowed in. I think they need to have a right to be let in. I think that it's only going to help us and them if they're let into our country, just because they can start a new life and be successful and be able to have money and just live a better life than hopefully what they're living in the past. At the end, I can tell that he really is into this presentation, because towards the end he starts tearing up and wiping tears away from his eyes while speaking on this topic. And I really like that, because that shows that he has emotion and really cares about getting people to know about immigration and trying to change the immigration rules that we have now. So that's really it for the information I took off of the video. I just want to talk a little bit about his presentation skills. I think out of all the videos we've watched so far, I think he's done the best. He had great eye contact. I don't think he looked down or looked up at all during the video. I think he was looking at the audience the whole entire time. His tone was great. He wasn't speaking any monotone, and he had a lot of emotion, which shows to me, again, that he was really into what he was talking about. I mean, the tears in his eyes, wiping away tears. He teared up 2 times, I think, at least in the video. And to me, that just really shows, again, how much he cared about his topic. Another thing is, the only thing I say he could do a little bit better of is interacting with the audience. There was one time he made a joke about his race, and he seemed serious at first, but then said he was kidding and started laughing. And it got the audience to laugh. But other than that, I think he could have done a little bit better job of interacting with the audience, like asking questions or having them vote on something. But another thing, I guess there's one more thing he can work on. There were some times where he would kind of talk about the rules and kind of like getting opinions on people, like about their thoughts on immigration. I think that'd been a good time to maybe put a graph or something on the TV or something in the room, to where it can kind of show how many people think immigration's good, how many people think immigration's bad, and then he can kind of get a vote. And then that's another thing where he can interact with the audience by asking the audience what they think about immigration. Yes, if they like it. No, if they don't like it. And just kind of interact with them that way. But other than that, I think this video was very good. I learned a lot of important information, and I connected it a lot in my life and just throughout the whole world. And I think he did a very good job presenting it. And yeah, that's really it. I really liked it.